Hello everyone, my name is Jakub Stokalski. I'm the project lead and lead designer of Frostpunk, and today I'm super excited to invite you to show you the newest addition to the world of Frostpunk, the Lost Autumn DLC. The Lost Autumn is a prequel scenario set in a time when everything looked different in the world of Frostpunk, when it was not as white as you might remember it from the base game. So this story is new, but it's not only the plot and the events that will be new when you play it. It's actually a completely revamped experience with everything from basic mechanics and gameplay to the way the game looks that's been changed and improved to give you a completely fresh and immersive Frostpunk experience. Since this is a prequel scenario, this is actually a moment in the history of this world when the frost didn't come just yet. It's rumored. Some people maybe know it's coming. Some people kind of think about that it's the only possible outcome of the events that are happening around the world, but no one's sure just yet. And some secret projects are in place to prepare for it should the worst comes to pass. And you are one of the people tasked with constructing another element that's missing from the base game, the iconic tower of the generator here. You are actually in charge of building the generator to support the evacuation of the people of British Empire should it really have to come to pass. Obviously, redesigning the game was a huge process for us because, like I said, the new things that we've added and new things that we've changed, touch pretty much every layer of the game, from the mechanics to the fact that we are missing some of the most iconic elements of the Frostpunk gameplay, such as the generator or the temperature pressure. But also one of the things that pops up the most is probably the way the game looks. And we didn't really, when we set out to tell this story, we wanted to set a new addition to the Frostpunk universe, but we didn't really want to shortchange ourselves. We were always looking to do what's right by the story, by the content we want to add. So as soon as we decided on doing a prequel story when the world is just not yet frozen over, well, redoing it in a green fashion was obviously immediately on the table, but we didn't want to do it just by slapping some generic green trees and grass on the usual layout. So researching environments such as Iceland or Greenland that define the iconic this combo of cold but at the same time greenery and life in the environment was a huge undertaking for our department and the whole team in general. Right, so this is the very beginning of the game. I don't want to really spend too much time here, and so let me just jump ahead to show you some of the more advanced mechanics and gameplay elements that you'll find in the scenario once you play it. As you can see, this is a day 24. So after 3 weeks of setting up the camp and preparing resources, I have my generator construction up and running. The generator here is still a work in progress. Obviously, it's not done, but there's a lot of happening around it. You know, the camp and the construction site is fully up and running, and there are new buildings and new resources that are brought in to make it all work. And obviously, like I mentioned, you know, new things do not only end on the looks. The actual whole resource tree and the economics of the game are redesigned as well. As you can see, there are no usual resources that a city built in the snow would use, such as the deep coal deposits on the iron ores. They are not really exploited by my construction workers here. On the other hand, what I do here is I bring most of my resources by sea. So the docks here provide me with new things new resources that I can use to produce some of the more advanced parts that I need to construct the generator. And obviously this is a balancing act for me. Because I cannot bring everything at once. I have to choose, do I want steel, do I want wood, do I want coal? Because the slots that I can use to build the docks on this ragged shore here are really limited. So I'll have to make sure that these are, I save some for actually fishing and providing food for my workers. And this balancing act is one of the biggest elements that will test my approach, as my skill as a strategist, as a person who can actually get this hugely demanding job of setting up a lifeboat for humanity, the generator. Whether I can be successful with this or not. And obviously, economics and resources is one thing, but another big thing is the way I shape the way workers and construction site workers fare on my construction site. And rest assured, some of the laws from the base game will make a comeback, but there's a lot of new ways that you'll be able to shape the society of your camp in very different ways. You can end up in doing, in good faith of trying to finish the generator on time. This can lead to some really, different and unforeseen consequences. One of them, one of these new elements, obviously will relate to the workers, such as the strikes here. And one of my main effort of constructing the core of the generator is currently on strike. My guys are not happy about the working conditions, the safety being quite harmful, as I can see. So they will probably have some demands of me for them to actually resume work. So let's negotiate. Yeah, they are obviously on strike. They are angry about exploitation, terrible working conditions, deadly dangers, which is basically the description of Frostpunk, right? But still, they're not happy about it, and I'll need to do something to make them go back to work. So I could promise them better food. I could promise them a bathhouse, which will improve the comfort of their life on the construction side. Or I could try to appease them with a little, well, let's not call it a bribe, but maybe a bribe. Let's see if they accept. Well, they reject my offer, those needy SOBs. Let's see. Scraps for your lapdogs, you fat blocksucker. They really like me, obviously. Bathhouse, or hearty meals, or a full day off. Well, full day off is something that I cannot really afford, being on the clock here. So let's just say that I'll build them a bathhouse. That's fine. So I'll need to go to the Book of Laws. I'll need to pass the law to actually allow them some time to get cleaned up after work. So let's just set it up. Whether we actually use it later or not is a completely other matter, but they don't need to know about this just yet. I'll probably need to redesign some of my camp around here, but for now, let's just place it here. Well, okay, so strikes and discontent of the workers is not the only thing that will stalk me here. The consequences of my choices in the Book of Laws and the way I shape the laws in the camp will haunt me as well. This event here, radical activists, probably mean that I favored one group of my workforce more than the other, and this leads obviously to some consequences. So I could condemn all violence stemming from the divide between working classes. I could say that they had it coming and get a motivation boost from my one part of the workforce that is more indoctrinated by my manipulations here. Obviously playing the Machiavelli here. So let's just do this. I obviously need some motivation. I need to keep up the motivation of my people up, otherwise their efficiency will fall, and my whole goal of setting up this generator in time will be impossible to achieve. Right, the bathhouse is ready, so hopefully they'll get off my back for some time at least, and let them rest for the evening. So actually the changes to the mechanics are pretty deep. Using the night here, I can show you the overlay for one of the biggest elements new in the game, which is the safety system. Obviously, doing such a huge task such as building the generator is no small feat, but it's also very dangerous. So I'll have different workplaces which are affected by different elements of my approach to building and the conditions on the construction site. I'll have to make sure that I actually keep up safety to not make all of my workforce ill at the same time, or I find other ways to deal with the consequences of asking my guys to work in human conditions here. I'll probably need to make up some time, so let me send some other guys here, and I probably need some more heat exchangers and the structural profiles for the next phase of building the generator. And obviously some of my guys will come up with ideas, since I obviously favor workers in this playthrough. Some of them will have ideas of how to improve the constructions. Well, will I trust them with this delicate work? Well, this could lead to some unintended consequences. I think I'll pass for now. So yeah, I need some of my resources up and running here. It's obviously Frostpunk is a game about meeting impossible challenges and persisting in the face of them. But at the same time, this is not and redesigning so many elements for the gameplay and the looks and the feel and the whole story of the scenario made us introduce a lot of new elements. But also, Frostpunk is primarily a story about what humanity does when faced with this catastrophe of impending cold. And while it's a lot of the time here you'll be facing different challenges and juggling different objectives, the frost itself and the cold, you can fully expect for it to play a role here as well. So at some time things could happen that will throw you off guard, and your old enemy could come a knocking. Which can totally and drastically change your situation and the outlook of your people and the way you have to approach the problems and the challenges before you to be able to meet the coming deadlines. So thank you for watching, and I hope you've liked what you saw as much as we've enjoyed making it. We are super anxious to see what you think about the game when it comes out on the January the 21st. See you in the world of Frostpunk.